Okay, so I'm at the end of row 26, so I've worked for my strap. For row 27 we're going to chain 1 and then 10, then we're going to work slip stitches for the strap, and then after working the stitch that has the stitch marker in, we're going to begin working yarn over slip stitches down until we get to this point. Then we're going to switch back to slip stitches. So go ahead and complete the row and I'll meet you guys back. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 27, so we're done with one cup. Okay, so we're going to repeat row 2 to row 27 for the other cup. Basically for row 28 you're going to repeat row 2, which is chain 1, then work up 15 stitches for this slip stitches only part, and then 20 stitches for this, and then go ahead and chain 16 plus 39. So go ahead and repeat rows 2 to 27 for another cup. Okay, so after repeating the instructions for a second cup, you should end at row 53 at this down part, and then for 54 chain 1, work your way up, work 15 or how many ever stitches you have for this slip stitches only part, and then work 20 for the end of a slip stitch part, and then for 55 chain 1 and work your way back down and fasten off. So for the front panel we should have a total of 55 rows. Okay, so to work the back panel we're gonna grab a yarn, and then with our 6mm hook we're going to chain 64. Okay, so if you added extra stitches for the front panel, make sure to add the same number of stitches when you make your chain for the back panel.
So we're going to switch over to the 5mm hook,
and then into the second chain from our hook we're going to work a yarn over slip stitch. So we're going to continue working yarn over slip stitches until we have 15 chains remaining on work. Remember, if you customize your bralette to be longer, you should have more than 15 stitches remaining on work when you switch over to slip stitches. Okay, so now I have 15 chains remaining. So remember, if you added say 10 chains when we started with the foundation chain, that means at this point you should have 25 chains remaining worked to work for this slip stitch only part. So we're going to begin working slip stitches, work next stitch, and then attach a stitch marker. Go ahead and work until the end of the row, and then I'll meet you guys back. Okay, we're at the end of row 1. For row 2, chain 1, and then 10, and into the first stitch we're going to work a back loop only slip stitch. Remember, from here on and out we're going to be working into the back loops only. So continue, then when you get to the stitch that has a stitch marker in, I'll meet you guys back. I just hit the stitch with the stitch marker, remove the stitch marker, then work a slip stitch, then reattach the stitch marker. Okay. And then I'm going to work 20 yarn over slip stitches. So I'll meet you guys at the end of the 20th stitch. Okay, this is row 2. I just worked the 20th yarn over slip stitch. For row 3 we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to 10, and then we're going to work our way back. Remember to switch over to slip stitches when we hit the stitch that has the stitch marker in. I'll meet you guys at the end of row. Okay, so for row 4, chain 1, and then work your way up. When we get to this stitch, I'm going to meet you guys back. Okay guys, so I'm here, and remember we're still in row 4. To complete the row we're going to work off 2 stitches from row 1. So work yarn over slip stitch into the first available stitch, and then into the second, and then for row 5 we're going to chain 1, 10, and then work our way back down, and I'll meet you guys back. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 5. Next step, we're going to repeat rows 4 and 5 for row 6 to row 21. At the end of row 21, simply chain 1 and work your way up for row 22. And when you get to this stitch right here for row 22, we are going to work on these stitches from row 1.
So we should have 10 stitches remaining unworked.
To work into the first one, yarn over into the first stitches back loop, work a yarn over slip stitch, and then to the next work another yarn over slip stitch. So I'll continue, and when we get to the last stitch I'll meet you guys back. Okay, so for the last stitch we're going to work into the 2 top loops. So this is the end of row 22. For row 23 we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to work our way down. So at the end of row 23, chain 1 and then work your way up, and then repeat 23 and 24 for 25 to 33, and then I'll meet you guys back. So I forgot to mention this, for every even number row, that is rows ending at this top part of the back panel, we should go in through the 2 top loops for the last stitch. So always work the last stitch going in through the 2 top loops. I'm at the end of row 33, so for 34 we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to 10,
And then we're going to work our way up until we have 10 stitches remaining unworked. And then I'll meet you guys back.
So this is it for row 34. For 35, chain 1, and then 10, and work your way back down. I'm at the end of row 35. For 36, chain 1, 10, and then when you have 2 stitches remaining, I'll meet you guys back. Work your way up until you have 2 stitches remaining and worked. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 36. I have 2 stitches remaining, chain 1, and then for 37, 10, and then work your way back down. And then we're going to repeat rows 36 and 37 for 38 to 53, and then I'll meet you guys back. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 53. For 54, chain 1, and then work your way up. When we get to this stitch, I'll meet you guys back so we can work on the short rows together. Okay, so I'm here. At this point you should have 35 stitches, and remember, if you added any number of stitches, you should have that number plus 35. So I somehow lost the clip. I'm here to show you guys the steps so you don't get confused. Every short row has 2 unworked stitches, except for the last, which would have 12 unworked stitches. So to work the first one, yarn over into the first stitch, work a yarn over slip stitch, and next work another yarn over slip stitch. Okay, then next row work so continue for the rest of the rows that have 2 unworked stitches.
So I'm here, time to work on these 10 stitches.
To the first available stitch, work yarn over slip stitch. Okay, then Okay, continue working away, and when we get to the last stitch, I'll meet you guys back.
So I'm here. At this point, you should have 63 stitches.
Which is the exact number of stitches we had for row 1. So for the last row, which is row 55, chain 1, and then 10, and now we're going to work our way back down. So work into the back loops, work yarn over slip stitches, and then when we get to the part that has just slip stitches, begin working slip stitches, and when we get to the last row, I'll meet you guys back so we can fasten off.
I just worked the last slip stitch. Remember, this is row 55 in our last row. Go ahead and fasten off. And this is the right side of our work. This is the tail from fastening off, and this is the tail from the starting slip knot. So this is the right side and this is the wrong side. If you look closely, you can see that the stitches look, these short rows look cleaner on the right side than the wrong side. So this is the right side. And now we're going to sandwich both panels together with the right side spacing in. So for the front panel, this is the wrong side. As you can see, this is the wrong side, this is the right side. And this is the tail from the slip knot, and then this is the tail from fasten off. So this is how to know the right side. So then we're going to sandwich it facing. So this is the right side, so place it like so. This is the wrong side, and then this one is the wrong side. So now we're going to begin seaming. We're going to join the two panels together.
Remember, the right sides are on the inside facing each other, and then the wrong sides are out. Okay, so to begin joining, we're going to insert the hook into the back loop of the corner stitch for the back panel, and then pull the yarn through, okay, and then chain 1 to secure. Okay, chain 1 to secure, and then that's it. For we've joined one stitch. To join the next, insert your hook into the back loop, okay, and then into the back loop of the next stitch. Oh God, why is this split it? Okay, and then work a slip stitch to the next, work into the back loop of the back panel, and then the back loop of the front panel, and then slip stitch to join. So back loop, and slip stitch to join. Then back loop, and slip stitch to join. So go ahead and work. Continue doing the same thing. And when we get to the last slip stitch, I'll meet you guys back. Okay, so I'm done joining the part that has slip stitches only, and now we're going to work on the part that has yarn over slip stitches. So we're going to be joining 20 yarn over slip stitches on each side. So 20 to join the first. Insert your hook into the back loop and into the back loop and slip stitch. That's 1, and into the next back loop and back loop, and that's 2. Go ahead and join 18 more, and then I'll meet you guys back. I'm back and I'm done joining. And how to know that you're done joining is when you work the last stitch for this part of the front panel. So I'm done joining. Now fasten off. Just chain 1 and cut your yarn. Leave a tail long enough for you to weave in later. Okay, now when you flip this is the front, this is the right side. Can you see how seamless the seam looks? Can you see it? Okay, so now we're going to join this side too, and now we have the front panel on top and then the back panel underneath. On this panel, which is the front panel, this is the two top loops are left from when we worked into the back pumps of the chains, and then we're going to be going in through the back loop. So we're going to go in through this back loop, through this back loop, and then for the back panel, this is the end that we just finished off, and we're going to go in through the back loop also. So going in through back loop. Okay, back loop. And for this side, I didn't leave a tail when I fastened off, I forgot, so I'm going to make a slip knot. Okay, and then I'm going to insert my hook, go in through the back loop of the corner stitch for the front panel, and then the back loop for the corner stitch of the back panel, and insert your hook into the loop you made from your slip knot and pull through. Okay, go ahead and pull through, and chain 1 to secure. Okay, so joined. Now to join the next stitch, insert your hook into the back loop for the front panel and into the back loop of the back panel. Okay, and make a slip stitch. Okay, for the next, into the back loop and then into the back loop and slip stitch. So continue and work your way up, and when we get to the last stitch, fasten off. So I'm done seaming this side. Now turn your top right side out. Can you see the stitch is very stretchy, very stretchy. Now we're going to mattress stitch the strap to the Racerback. So go ahead and grab your yarn needle, and I'll meet you guys back. Thread your needle, and on the strap find 2 loops of yarn to go in through. Make sure not to go all the way, and then find corresponding loop on the back panel to go in through. Okay, make sure not to pull all the way. And next, on the strap, find 2 loops. I like going through 2 loops so it's tight. And on this, find 2 loops. Okay, it's going through, and that's it. On this, going inside out, find 2 loops. Okay, and cool, and then on this panel find 2, and Then thread this to the back and weave in. Okay. I like to make little knots here and there. I find a loop of yarn and then I go in and then I go in through this loop. Okay, and then I weave in.